What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today's Thursday, June 9th, 2022, and this is my AMC, GME, and SPY Algo exposed daily update and preparation video for tomorrow, TGIFF, and beyond. As always, I hope you had a great day in the market today and you were able to make some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going to go over all my regulars, my snake algo for all three tickers, and some macro comparatives. So with that said, let's dig in. On your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snake. AMC finished the day today down 5.47%, down an additional 0.16% in after hours, trading at $12.76. On your screen is the current intra-week snake that has been projecting and fulfilling since Tuesday, and the projection going into today from that snake was this downside move, to which price action fulfilled literally almost candle for candle today. You can see what the projection from it is moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, also in last night's video, we talked about a potential alternate scenario regarding the previous intra-week snake and the diverting from it. However, price action did not fulfill either one of those. They were both showing upside today away from this. This one stayed intact, stayed fulfilled. However, going into tomorrow, I did look at the day of divergence in a mirrored position today, and it did give projection and fulfillment of today, candle for candle to the downside in a mirrored placement with an overlap of yesterday candle for candle. And that is something I am going to look at if price action does not follow what the current intra-week snake is showing tomorrow, and we were to divert hard to the downside first thing in the morning tomorrow morning. Ironically, tomorrow morning is CPI data being released, I believe at 08:30 Eastern Standard Time, so that ought to be interesting. We did see a sell-off, quote unquote, at the end of the day today on SPY, really hard. I mean, realistically, it started early this morning in pre-market and continued, the hardest part of it being this afternoon on SPY. So we'll see what that does tomorrow. We'll look at that on SPY here in a minute, but that's what I'm looking at on the intra-week snakes with AMC going into tomorrow. The macro comparative for AMC, as you know, is from the previous double bottom right next door, and we've looked at this on this channel in the straight up position, which it's in right now, and a mirrored position. The reason being is it had projected and fulfilled leading up to here, where it diverted to the downside, invert mirrored that, went back up, converged back with the inside corner of it, and then it was projecting downside, and it didn't give that right away. However, it is now giving that downside. I talked about it in last night's video. For this to converge back with it, it would need to go hard downside, and it has at least started that movement today. So going into tomorrow and beyond, I would be looking for a continuation of that to the downside for this to stay converged back with this for its projection, as you can see on your screen going into tomorrow and beyond. Now, we did look at this in a mirrored position because of that inverted mirroring that happened previously there. And looking at it in that manner, you can see where price action appears to have potentially diverted from it back to the downside. And that's what I'm talking about. It may have spun itself right back to a convergence with that. That's option number one with this, or scenario number one with this. Sorry, brain fart. Or it almost appears to be a potential suppression of that projection at a lower level, which I call a level change, where you can see that the check down on the way up in the projection is there, and now the top is there. So if that were to be in a more compressed manner of this, something similar to that, where the inverted mirroring happens down here, and we mirrored right here is where we mirrored this to the upside, that is what I'd be looking at for a projection moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if it were to continue to fulfill in the mirrored position. Obviously, this would require a bounce back to the upside off of this intraday or micro third pull that I have currently sitting right there as a temporary third until I get confirmation of that level. So that is everything that I am looking at with AMC going into tomorrow and beyond. GME finished the day today down 7.03%, down an additional 0.53% in after hours, trading at 128.30. The current intra-week snake is what you see currently on your screen, and it was projecting some downside movement today. However, not directly straight down. It was more of a channel descending consolidation that it was projecting. So although the downside did fulfill as far as a projection, the movement in which it was projecting did not. So I would potentially consider this a diversion from this snake. It has fulfilled its normal time. As a matter of fact, it's fulfilled 3 days or 4 days more than most of them do on the intra-week basis. So if this were to continue in a downside manner and divert fully and separate fully from this, I would consider that the diversion. So I'll be clipping day of and day prior to, and I'll present that in the Sunday update and prep, weekly update and prep video when we get to that, if that's what happens. However, if it bounces and runs back up with this and converges back up with it, obviously it would still be intact going into tomorrow. So that's what I'm looking at right now from a snake, intra-week snake perspective. The macro comparative is also like AMC from the previous double bottom right next door to it, excuse me. And if price action were to continue to fulfill this, you can see that it had invert mirrored this downside move to the upside, which we mirrored for, and I'll show you in a minute. But price action, as I stated in last night's video, if it were to converge back with the straight up setup that it needed to heavy downside today, and that's exactly what happened. So it is technically converged back with that. So if it were to continue to fulfill in the straight up setup, that is what you see for a projection from it moving into tomorrow and beyond. However, the mirrored position of this, once it invert mirrored that upside move, is still intact currently. That is the position of it, and you can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it in its mirrored position. And that is everything I have for GME. Last but not least, SPY. SPY finished the day today down a whopping 2.38%, currently up 0.18% in after hours, trading at 402.06. The current intra-week snake, I did make a slight adjustment to it. We talked about this invert mirroring this downside move to the upside and converging back with this. I did compress this a little bit as I looked at it in depth, and I do believe this is the placement that it needs to be in. And looking at it going into tomorrow and beyond, you can see what the projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it in this placement, if I have it correct. And this is what I'm going with the placement of this for now. Then you have the macro comparative, excuse me, didn't mean to do that in your ear. From the 08-09 correction and crash in what I've called the extended version. And this is literally borderline on the edge of the cliff to potentially fulfill the crash to the downside if price action were to continue. We have a box top here, a third pull from the previous W, the W fulfillment underneath it, the move right back up to it, and now we've been building out that box top. I talked about the neckline break to the downside at that 407 mark, and that is exactly what happened today. It did fulfill that projection to the downside. You can see what the projection is from this moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill this thing in that placement. So that is what it looks like tomorrow with both of them on there. Obviously, polar opposites. Very interesting with the sell-off today and then CPI data to be released tomorrow morning. Should be an interesting day tomorrow, to say the least. So I hope you have a great day tomorrow and you can make some extreme gains for yourselves in the market tomorrow. That is everything I have for the video. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Keep in mind, there will not be an update and prep video out tomorrow night. The next one I'll put out will be Sunday afternoon or evening for the weekly update and prep for the upcoming week. So I will see you all then. Enjoy your night, and I will talk to you on the next one. Later.